Hello and welcome to the Dubois County Humane Society. I'm Kaitlyn Neukam. We are here in Jasper, Indiana in the Green Cat Room, of course, again at the Dubois County Humane Society here on the south side of town. We are here with a Humane Society veteran volunteer, LaVonne Tisdal. LaVonne, we've got quite a presentation to go over today, but as always, we appreciate you working with us and giving us some information and just letting us use your knowledge for a little bit today.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here, and I'm going to show everyone how to make winter cat boxes because now is the time to get them out and about. I have a few examples that I brought with me today, and I have one right here that I want to show everyone. This is too small for cat boxes, so if you have these at home and you want to drop them off at the Humane Society, we don't want them, sorry, because they are too small. By the time you fill these with straw, there's no room for the cat.
It looks like maybe a kitten would fit in here at best, but a lot of these stray cats that we're going to be kind of focusing on are adult size.
That's right. So leave the small ones at home, but thank you for thinking of us. But those are a little bit too small. Okay, where do you get the coolers? Well, this came from a steak company that shipped their steaks in the mail. Sometimes we get them from the health department. We have a volunteer that has gone around and collected them and brought them to the shelter. Thank you, Dolores. She even went all the way to Candleton and got numerous coolers because there was a person who got them in the mail with frozen food. Beautiful coolers. So she has brought a lot of them to us. And so they're like gold because they are terrific for winter cat boxes.
And these type that you're specifically referring to, they're not easy to come by.
No, they're hard to find. So, if anybody has these at home and you want to share them, just put them on our front porch and we will gladly take them.
Yes.
All right?
What kind of supplies or what else do we need to know about building?
Okay, I use a very serrated knife. This is just a steak knife. You also need a marker, tape. I have two types of tape. Duct tape works. This is clear tape. I picked this up at the dollar store, so you can get tape just about anywhere. Scissors for cutting the tape. This one, of course, doesn't need a scissors. But what I do is I take my marker, and if you notice, there's about 3 or 4 inches from the bottom. That is where you want to start to draw your entrance, all right? Do not place it down here at the bottom because then you have nowhere to house the straw, and then the straw just flies right out.
And at the same time, these don't have, pitched roofs like a normal building would. So having enough where the water's not going to get into the bottom is just as important.
That's right. That's right. So you mark your entrance or your doorway. You take your serrated knife, and you do this outside. Don't do it indoors.
It'd be a mess.
The styrofoam flies everywhere. So go outdoors, cut this, and it's a little hard to cut. That's why it works best if you have a steak knife like this. Okay, so once I have cut the opening.
And she's already prepared, so next step.
Magic of TV. All right, I take the end of my knife and I go like this, and I punch the excess into the container there. All right, so we will take this out, and then you want to fill with straw. You don't want to use blankets. You don't want to use towels. No hay.
So the difference between hay and straw, which as a farm girl who only grows hay and straw, it took me 20 years to figure out. Straw has an open center and hay is more grass-like. So you want the straw that has more abilities to remain open, and it's lighter for these boxes, right?
Yes, and it's hollow. There's air inside, which is very good insulation. Right. So you can say to yourself, hay is for horses, straw is for strays. That's a good way to remember.
There you go. I love that.
Okay, so fill your box with straw. And we do have straw here at the Humane Society. We had a store here in Jasper who donated these little decorative bales. Thank you. And you can just take one of these home. Or if you want to go and get part of a bale of straw, I'm going to recommend that you bring a plastic bag and put the straw in a plastic bag. Then you can take it home because it will go all over your car, all over your trunk.
So if you have a truck especially, you know, it might be easier to just pack that on the back if it's not raining or any weird weather. But if you're going to plan on putting these large bales inside of your vehicle, a bag's the way to go. I've seen a lot of people use them.
Yes, yes. Okay, so fill the box with straw. Then you put the lid on. And you need to tape the lid on because these will fall off. They'll fly off.
Before we close up the box, can I ask how much straw is too much straw?
Well,
or how much is too less?
I try to fill it up because you can always take the straw out. All right, so once you have the straw inside, the next thing you want to do is take your hand, and if you notice right here, this is all full of straw.
Yes.
So as the cat walks by, they're not going to go in because it's all blocked with straw. So you have to go inside, and you take your hand and you make a nest.
Okay.
Yes, and you sort of push this down, make a nest in there, and if there's too much straw, you can take it out, save it, because after a while, the straw will break down.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, you make a little nest in there, and then the next step is to take your tape, and you need to tape all the way around, as you can see with this one right here.
Right.
And it sort of creates a band. Now, a lot of times the tape doesn't like to stick on the styrofoam, so that's why if you tape it all the way around, like this.
Like a package. Like
Yes.
if you're getting ready to ship something and you want to make sure it stays in the container, wrap it up pretty tight.
And I do 2 strips. All right. Now, I couldn't get one over here because there was not enough space. But you can use duct tape, you can use clear cellophane tape. Masking tape doesn't work just
Right.
It's okay, but it doesn't work quite as well. All right. And then you can see on this one, I've made a little nest in there, and you're ready to go. Now, do not put these outside in the elements because they are not waterproof.
Right.
So they need to go in a barn, in a shed, on your carport, or if you really want to put them outdoors, you could get a doghouse.
Yeah.
The ones that come in 2 sections. You know, they're plastic dog houses. All right,
Yeah.
so you take them apart, you put your cat box inside, put the top on the doghouse, and then they're waterproof.
Right. And I mean, just providing that extra bit of shelter can definitely make the lifespan of these everlasting a bit more too. Because again, this is all eventually, even if the styrofoam looks deceiving, eventually all of this breaks down and all of this has the potential of, you know, falling apart. So knowing these things, and do you recommend, I know you have your tape circled around here, but is there a reason to why we use tape versus, you know, just sealing the top off indefinitely with something like glue?
I don't know if the glue would work.
Right.
This is easier,
Right.
quicker. I never even thought about glue.
And at the same time, if you wanted to open it up and reuse it or take
That's
stuff
right.
out.
That's right. You can just, you know, pull the tape off. So I think the tape is best.
Yeah.
You also don't want to use, did I mention, don't use blankets, don't use towels. You only want to use straw. Also, you want to face them either south or east. Don't want to face them to the west or to the north because of the wind.
Right.
And also, never put your opening in the center. Notice they're off to the side.
Yes.
Because then you have a space for the cat to go back in the corner away from the wind. So that's real crucial.
Yes. So, you know, we're thinking about adult cats, and I'm looking at this guy. Do you think a full adult cat can get in something as kind of small as this compared to the bigger one?
All right, this one is probably for a small cat.
Gotcha.
And if you have a really big cat, you want to go for the bigger coolers.
Yes.
Yeah. My husband stopped at the dumpster and those little shacks where you sign in, whatever, and somebody had one there for free. So he said, "Oh, I'll take that." So my wife can make cat boxes. So this is a little small, but it was free. And I thought, okay, somebody can use it.
And again, you said that these are very hard to come by, so you take what you can and you kind of go for there and hope for the best. If someone's thinking, oh, this will be the perfect shelter for our outdoor cat, say they do end up putting a additional shelter on top of this or making sure it's in a building, would you advise to maybe not put cat food or cat or water bowls in there with it as well? Because you don't want to soil that bedding, right?
You need to put the food and water away from the shelter. All right. It also sometimes can attract predators.
Right.
So you have to think about that.
Yes.
But no, don't put any food in here. No water, because it'll get wet and you'll have a mess. So that's not necessary.
Good deal. And again, these are just things you think of as, trying to maintain this animal's stay or trying to make sure that they are able to use it. And I'd be curious, maybe some other four-legged critters have tried to use these before, but I would imagine there's a lot of cats getting good use out of this in our area.
My mom has a possum that's using one in her house. So just any kind of animal that wants shelter, hey, they're welcome to them.
Good deal. So will you remind us what our shopping supplies or what we need for these cat boxes are one more time?
Okay, Styrofoam cooler. Make sure it's not too small.
Not too small.
That's too small. So the larger the better. You can go to maybe the health department. Maybe some hospitals might have them because they get medication in them. And food is shipped, especially now with Christmas.
Yes.
So you might be finding them everywhere. And then you need a knife. You need tape.
You've got the two types
Tape here. Just whatever you have. I don't use too much masking tape because it just doesn't hold up as well. And like I said, you can go to the dollar store and pick these up. And then of course I've got a scissors to cut my tape. Now, if you don't like the look of this really bright white, you can even put your cat box in a black plastic bag.
So it'd be more concealed.
Yes, correct. Because they sort of stand out.
Right. And I mean, yes, it's stark white, maybe in the snow or contrasting the snow, it kind of falls apart, but that would be a good thing to think of as well. These don't need to be as intricate and detailed and as beautiful as some might think just for them to work in the cold winter months, but at the same time, if you want to make it, spruce it up a little bit and make it as convenient as possible, that works as well. And then do not forget straws for strays, so make sure you get straw to pack in here and make that little nest, right?
Yes, and we do have straw here for free. If anybody needs straw, we will give you one of these little bales. Or we have the bigger bales. If you have a doghouse outside and need straw for your dog, you can take a whole bale. Or sometimes I will just, I'll take a scissors and I will cut the twine and I will just take half a bale. And when I do that, I put that straw in a plastic bag. Yes, or a garbage bag. And I try to use the contractor bags because they're a little bit sturdier and stiffer.
And that stuff will poke out if it's not a very sturdy bag.
That's right. I've learned from experience. Yeah. So you can get a half a bale. You don't have to take the whole bale. And you can get it right into your car because I have it in the back seat of my car and it's all in the bag and you don't have straw everywhere. So it works out.
Very good. LaVonne, is there anything else you want to make sure to mention? Because again, it's a good, fun DIY project, I think, for someone who's maybe never tried these before. But again, maintaining them, putting them in a building or under some type of maybe doghouse style, structure is important. But anything you want to make sure that people know to make sure when they make this for the first time, they're doing it the right way?
Well, and they're good for 3 or 4 years. So you don't need a new one every year.
That's good to know.
Take the old straw out and then replace it with fresh.
Yes, maybe in the summertime, that's when you clean out the cat boxes, maybe let them air out and dry out and whatnot. Put them away for storage over the summer, and then when fall inevitably goes away, wintertime, you get some fresh straw in there and you can reuse them. And again, that's a good lifespan for something like this.
Yes, and if you have barn cats and you think, oh, they've got the barn, they can shelter down. It's freezing in these older barns, any kind of barn that doesn't have heat. So get your cat boxes into the barn and the cats will thank you.
Well, thank you so much for running us through this. I'm very excited to see this, and maybe this will be one of my winter projects to try to at least give some insulation to some cats. But we know the Humane Society here appreciates all your efforts, and if we can at least educate one person with this and try to get more cat boxes made. Not saying LaVonne is the only one that makes them, but spread the wealth and maybe we'll make a cat box movement.
They're easy to make, just know where to put the opening and not too far down at the bottom and tape it up and you're ready to go.
Good deal.
Keep it in, a shelter such as a shed or a barn or your patio, your carport would work.
Right. any type of roofed area. But that's some good advice as well. But thank you so much for educating us today.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much at home for watching as well. This has been a very special feature at the Dubois County Humane Society on how to make winter weather boxes for cats. And this has been on 18 WJTS.